So I mentioned in my last video about the medication that I was on called clonidine, which, like I said, it would give me some side effects like associated with a drop in blood pressure, so make me dizzy if I'm like sitting or laying down, and then I get up quickly. Then I would feel pretty lightheaded. I didn't really understand that that's what it was doing at the time. I think that's sort of another thing that's sort of a failure of the medical establishment of which I am a part, because we should, if we're sending somebody home on medication, we should really make sure that they understand, what the risks and benefits are, and what they can expect, and perhaps what to be aware of. So, the clonidine, it did, it calmed my tics, made them less severe, less frequent, which during my teen years they were very, very severe. I couldn't even keep my head still at times, especially when I was under stress. And it did calm the emotional aspect, that was helpful because I think it gave me breathing room to kind of get on top of things and then allow myself intellectually to take control of my emotions. What I was going to say also is that some of the other medications that they use have considerably more side effects. And people don't always know this. When I was first started on medication after I was diagnosed, I was about 14 years old. So my mom takes me to this doctor. I'm like, okay, whatever. She felt like desperate to get help, because I was more temperamental, and I think she thought this was the answer, and she didn't know any better. And I'm stopping to have some tics as I do this video. And so I didn't really understand it either. And if the clonidine didn't work, then things could have been much worse, and that could have really affected my future. Because I was on the clonidine for about 9 years, and if that didn't work, then the second line he was using what was going to be Haldol. Now I'm familiar with Haldol. We use it occasionally with our very confused patients if we need to try and calm them down to get them through an MRI or something like that. But if I was on that long term, there are considerable side effects that go along with that too. You could end up with Parkinsonian type fidgeting kind of things. You can it can just make your brain feel cloudy, because Haldol is what we call a traditional antipsychotic, and nowadays they also do treat Tourette's with sometimes as a second line drug. They use the more modern, what they call atypical antipsychotics, but those have their side effects too. They can have significant weight gain, which also includes increased blood sugar. So basically they give you diabetes, and as a medical establishment, I think it's really our responsibility to the patients. If you're sending people home on stuff, they need to know what the risks and benefits are. And as a teenager, I really didn't. So I just lucked out that the clonidine basically helped well enough. And then by the time I was in my, I guess I was probably about 23, 24 by this time, I weaned myself off of it just because I didn't want to be on that anymore. And, and so I guess I went a little bit longer on that than I had anticipated. But there was another thing that I was thinking about is that having Tourette syndrome always gave me the sense of being different. So, I mean, I'm basically a straight white male, but like a black person, other people of color, you know, you can't hide that, right? That's not something that, oh, well, let's just not tell them about that at the job interview for, right away or something like that. No, it's very, very obvious. I mean, people notice it, and the way I am right now, people will still notice that I have these twitches, and they might wonder about it. Some people will ask, some people won't. Some people will be too polite. I'll finish off by telling one story here. When I went to apply to nursing school at Cal State LA, and I interviewed with the head of the department, and she noticed my Tourette syndrome, and I told her what it was, and she asked me if I needed special accommodations. She said I could talk to the Students with Disabilities office or something like that. And I was kind of confused at first. I was like, huh? Why would I do that? I had already graduated from Cal State LA with a degree in accounting, graduated with honors. Why the hell would I need a disability to help me out? And I think she sensed I was confused, and she called me back later and apologized. Says, I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have brought that up or something like that. She meant well, but so like I said, that's something that can't be hidden. And I don't know. Maybe that cost me some job opportunities when I was